Auburn 82, Creighton 70. Was a little dicey. Creighton was winning at halftime. Was there any point in this game, Riley, where you thought, oh, maybe Creighton's going to do this?
Yeah, there was actually. I think with the way that they played in the first half, with the production they got out of Jackson McAndrews, Stephen Ashworth it was almost shaping up to be another Louisville type performance where he shows up and shows out. I thought he had that one whip around assist where he drove baseline and kicked it out to Jemiah Neal. That came at the 14-minute mark in the second half. It was in that moment. It was a tie game. It looked like, okay, Creighton is rising to the occasion. The role players are playing well. Kalk is playing well. Ashworth is continuing this momentum he built in the first round. But I think after that, only made one field goal in the final 13 minutes with 30 seconds left, kind of a garbage time layup, and only had one assist after that as well. It kind of seemed like the well dried up, and Auburn took advantage. This was I wouldn't say it was like fully back to that to the what now feels like vintage Auburn, really just earlier season Auburn when they were murdering teams in the SEC, like in the non-con and SEC play. I wouldn't say it got quite to that level, but we still saw some of that spurt ability that makes this Tiger team so special. Tahad Pettiford led the way with that, was knocking down big threes, had that just absolutely disgusting play where he split two defenders and hit the floater that felt like a dagger, waved goodbye. That to me, I think was like even though if it wasn't the full Auburn experience, it was still like, okay, Tahad is back. He's talking that talk. He put this team down. That's your reason for optimism if you're a Tigers fan that they have like kind of reversed the fortunes that have from what have been plaguing them the past 3 weeks now.
If you were a Creighton fan, I think this game went the way you wanted it to go, right? Where you had Jackson McAndrew making four threes. You had Ashworth kind of operating and doing what he does. You had Kalkbrenner severely limiting Janai Broom. Right, Broom finished the game with 8 points on 4 of 13 shooting. Did have 12 boards, but only one assist. Like Kalk won that matchup. We talked about that. Like if he won the matchup, it gave Creighton a real chance to win this game.
Hmm.
But we've called Tahad Pettiford Auburn's most important player because you need guards to win, and he is their best guard.
He lived up to the big game Hod moniker tonight. And I mean, that's the difference. Like they're still bringing him off the bench. Feels a little bit like a nominal thing. He played 32 minutes tonight,
Yeah.
and I mean, still Denver Jones played more at 35. I love the pairing there. It's like the Thunder and Lightning with the savvy vet and the electric newcomer that kind of balance each other out a little bit with well, then again, Jones I think is more control just because he's been around the block, but like Jones also is not afraid to pull up from three. He hit that one off the dribble three late that felt huge. He had the final dagger shot that was like, okay, this game is for real done, and he hit him with the Curry to sleep celebration. But yeah, having a guard like that you can bring off the bench who feels like he's built for the moment, that has that pedigree of I guess he never made a McDonald's All-American team or anything, but he played for New Heights Lightning, a team that was like rolling through EYBL before Elliot Cadeau reclassed. I can't remember if they ended up winning Peach Jam, but they were undefeated like before Cadeau reclassed and left for North Carolina. But just having a guy like that who's been in big moments throughout his whole high school and prep school career, he didn't back down from it. And yeah, I mean, he single-handedly swung this game in a night where Broom went 0 for 2 from the free throw line and only attempted two free throws too, which is crazy. Couldn't buy a three, and Kalk just got the better of him in that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, Pettiford was huge in this one.
Pettiford's going to have to be the like if Auburn wins a national championship, I think Pettiford's your MLP in the Final Four.
I agree. Sorry, I just thought about Isaac Trout.
What about Isaac Trout?
I'm looking at the box score right now and saw Isaac Trout played his 5 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And he immediately, I think, fouled Dylan Cardwell and had no shot at stopping him from getting to the basket, which highlights all the issues we mentioned for Creighton in the preview. Like, had they won this game, it was truly gonna take. I mean, they darn near got it with 39 minutes for Stephen Ashworth, 37 for Neal, and 38 for Kalk, 34 for McAndrew. Did not really go to the bench much. I mean. Yeah, Frederick King 2 minutes, Isaac Trout 5 minutes. Those two
That was
dudes were
it.
just yeah to tread water. That's all. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Auburn
Yeah,
is
it's
now looking ahead. Auburn's now looked shaky in both games
mhm.
that they've played. Um, how concerned are you about that?
I'm a lot less concerned with how they finished this. They capped off a 16-4 run that put them ahead for good in the second half. And even just knowing we've seen teams struggle in that 8-9 matchup before.
Mhm.
I think multiple players on national championship teams tell you that the 8-9 matchup is the hardest because you get good teams who go through tough stretches in the year. Sometimes it's due to injury, sometimes it's due to guys adjusting to their new roles, and they're usually hungry and they play well in those games. I mean, sorry for the Carolina bias again, but I just remember when UNC last won the title in 2017, they were Arkansas had them on the ropes multiple times. That as I think Arkansas was the 8 seed that year,
Mm.
and yeah, all those UNC players will always like who were on that team go back to that game as being the turning point. That as soon as they won that, they were like, okay, yeah, we know we're winning the national championship because we just survived this super bizarre game. To where I think there's a way to spin it positively. And again, I can't stress enough, just like getting Pettiford right. This dude had not looked like himself the last few games.
Yeah.
He
He
was.
he had a really bad SEC tournament
Mhm.
and performed what you would consider to be normal to hot in the opener against Alabama State, but wasn't overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and even that is like it's a 16. I guess a 16 seed. It's good to have a game to get right a little bit, but I went 1 for 9 during the SEC tournament, like you had mentioned, and to see him come out and not just make his 3 pointers, but to hit the big shots as well to kind of give that confidence boost.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick Auburn to my Final Four. I have them losing in the Elite Eight, and that feels like the bare minimum of what they'll do. They could go further. I'm not ready to fully 100% say like they are back to what we saw November through the end of February, but there's at least those signs of life. I mean, I thought even guys like Cardwell to me is such a good role player who I thought did about as well as you could on Kalkbrenner. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. Baker-Mazara limited some of like the distractions and had a really good game, both knifing into
Yeah.
the paint, getting shots around the basket, and hit a couple threes. I would say this was a game that even though it was dicey, just it points to Auburn's depth. It points to the fact that they have multiple guys who can either create their own shot or finish plays, even when Broom is having an off night. And then there's just the role allocation of the two front court players, Cardwell, Johnson, like knowing their roles. They're in there to grab boards. They're in there to be physical. They're in there to get shots around the rim. Do a little playmaking for Cardwell, and they're just reliable night in night out. So yeah, I'm not fully. I wouldn't say I've fully bought back to Auburn as a surefire national title like co-favorite alongside Duke or anything, but I think they're getting back to that point where you could see it happening.
Yeah, I think the common trend in this game and the opener against Alabama State was slow first halves.
Hmm.
At some point, you that's gonna get you if it keeps up. And Michigan, who they play in the Sweet 16, who has won every close game that's ever been played this
Yep.
season. If you can't have that happen against them, I don't think. I think we'll know kind of Auburn moving forward what to expect from them in the first probably 8 minutes in that game against Michigan. You take the win. I think Bruce Pearl would take something to work on as well to keep his guys focused. But Auburn Tigers moving the Sweet 16. Gotta love it.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.